ठीक ठीक। आइए ना।
May start the proceedings. May I now request the Honorable Minister Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji to join us on the stage along with Mr. Raj Iswaran, President IMA, Mr. Vishnu Agarwal, Vice President IMA, Mr. Ajit Singh Chauhan, Vice President IMA, and also Babu Bivel. May I also request our special guest, Mr. Anil Swarup, to please join us on the stage, please. I would request our members to give a round of applause. May I request for a traditional bouquet of flowers for the minister, and would request the President Tima to kindly hand it over to the Honorable Minister. I would also request the Vice President and the President-elect, Mr. Vishnu Agarwal, to felicitate Mr. Anil Swarup with a bouquet of flowers, please. I have the task to inform the members that Shri Piyush Goyalji, Power Minister, has communicated yesterday evening that he will not be able to make it today morning due to some unforeseen circumstances. And he has telephonically wished us all the very best for this program. Before we start the formal proceedings, may I request all the dignitaries on the dais to please light the traditional lamp. Thank you. I would now Mr. Raj Iswaran, President EMA, for his opening remarks and welcome. Thank you.
Morning. Sri Venkaiah Naidu, Honorable Minister for Urban Development, Housing and Poverty Urban Alleviation and Parliamentary Affairs, Government of India. Sri Anil Swarup, Additional Secretary, Cabinet Secretariat, Government of India. Esteemed dignitaries, members of the press, and all other stakeholders. You at the EMA Annual Convention 2014. I once again join my Executive Council to express a heartfelt gratitude to Sri Venkaiah Naidu and Sri Anil Swarup for having consented to join the deliberation and gracing the occasion. Sirs, your presence here is indeed a source of inspiration to all of us, and we all look forward to hearing the government's vision of future India in the smart cities. Spurred by the vision of Government of India's ambitious and bold project on 100 smart cities, we at EMA and the industry are enthused and excited about this unique project. The scale of this project reminds us of the Golden Quadrilateral and Connecting the Rivers project. In fact, the 100 smart cities goes beyond this league, and the thought itself merits a salute. The whole industry is bullish about the fact that the Government of India is thinking really big. I am sure all of us will agree with me that given the complexity of the nation, smart ideas and smart cohesive implementation capabilities is needed for the hour. I congratulate the new government to take up such a unique initiative. To paraphrase what Sri Venkaiah Naidu had recently said, the focus of Smart Cities project should be enhancing the quality of urban life through an integrated approach to urban planning and execution besides inclusivity. Ladies and gentlemen, what I had mentioned indeed is a huge opportunity for the entire industry across urban development, power, rural infrastructure development, municipality, hospitals, education opportunities, and the entire ecosystem of allied industries. It is a given that the CEOs of the industry have a big role to play in planning and deciding their way forward to respond to this project, which will unravel immense opportunities of growth in the coming few years. I would like to make a special mention about the small and medium enterprises who will be an integral part and an equal partner in the growth mission of the nation. EMA represents this balanced mix of future-ready industry players and small and medium enterprises ready to partner with the government. EMA looks forward to a free and fair and just partnership and is ready 24/7 to respond to the needs of the government. Amongst the significant initiatives, or if I may say enablers, that EMA has taken up, one, it includes the formulation of a standard bidding document with the Ministry of Power. This includes both the supply of equipment and also turnkey projects. We are also working closely with the Ministry of Power and the Distribution Reforms Committee to ensure that the maximum benefit is arrived for the money that we spend. Combating Chinese imports. EMA, in its continued effort to combat indiscriminate imports from China, took up the challenge with a multi-pronged response. The issue has been highlighted through the newspapers and also in meetings with senior government officials. Although it cannot be claimed that 100% success has been achieved, but most certainly we have been able to contribute in getting those who matter to agree that import of electrical equipment from China is not in the national interest. One immediate success is the imposition of safeguard duty on insulators. Discussions are now happening at the highest level to safeguard our interest. EMA has partnered with Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, the IEEE, the world's largest engineering society with members in over 160 countries, encompassing the field of electrical, electronics, computer engineering, and science and related technologies. Together with IEEE, we are launching Intellect in January 2015, which will be a technology showcase and conference on future intelligent electricity, connecting to and enabling intelligent and smart businesses for a smart India. This common platform for stakeholders like us present in the hall is indeed a great opportunity to address the needs for a massive infrastructure and balance required for the success of empowering 100 smart cities in India. We will also hold a concurrent show up to 11 kV in line with the distribution reforms. This show will give a unique opportunity for the electrical equipment manufacturers to showcase their latest equipment, technology, solutions, and services, and interact with the utility officials. We intend to meet and nurture the objective of 24/7 smart electricity from street to home. Ladies and gentlemen, to reiterate, EMA upholds its Made in India brand, promises to make this happen. EMA is the apex association of Power Transmission and Distribution Manufacturers Fraternity of India, echoes the "Come, Make in India" words of the Honorable Prime Minister of India. EMA has also incessantly endeavored to make EMA more relevant, not just to its 800 members across generation, transmission, and distribution, but also in effect to all allied industries for opening up opportunities for more domestic manufacturing and employment opportunities. Connecting the dots of 24/7 smart electricity scenario for India in the future, I see this as a great opportunity for EMA to respond to this positive change. If it were to be sustained, it will be a paradigm shift and the most powerful and meaning by and for India model. Thank you, and with that, welcome to the annual convention. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj. May I now request Mr. Anil Swarup, who is Additional Secretary in the Cabinet Secretariat in the Government of India. Mr. Swarup has been working in different assignments of his in the last about 30 years plus with the industry. Started way back with Executive Director Udyog Bandhu, which he has metamorphosed now in a larger, much larger role of the Project Monitoring Group. Chairman APIDA and many other things. Mr. Swarup, please.
Honorable Minister, President IMA, dignitaries on the dais, and friends. It's always a pleasure to be with this family called IMA. This is probably my third occasion where I'm talking to you. Some of it which I'll talk may be a bit of a repetition, but in the context of the discussions that we had in the morning, wherein it was very correctly said that we need to do a lot with regard to improving the business environment in the country, I will try to touch upon what the Project Monitoring Group in the Cabinet Secretariat has been doing, what does it plan for the future, and how this group can help in fast-tracking the smart cities as well, and your role therein. The Project Monitoring Group was set up in the Cabinet Secretariat amidst exasperation amongst industry. They were literally tearing their hair out because clearances were getting stuck up here, there, and everywhere. It was in this context that this group was set up, and how we have structured it as follows. We have a web portal wherein any industry, in the beginning having an investment of about 1,000 crore or more, could go into the portal, give a brief detail about their industry, and mention their problems ministry-wise. This was important, because the moment that project is accepted for consideration by us, automatically these problems flow to the designated joint secretary of the concerned ministry. Now this is very important, because it's all very automated. And that joint secretary has to put his comments on the portal, which are visible to the industry. So this was the communication channel, open communication, transparent communication channel that has been put in place to put forth the problems that the industry have. What we have parallelly also done is, we've set up 12 subgroups of such ministries that are creating problems or are sitting on clearances. We couldn't have possibly called them problem-creating ministries, so we euphemistically call them recipient ministries. And these subgroups meet on fixed days and time. For ministries like Environment and Forest, we meet every week at 3 o'clock, every Tuesday. It's fixed. So tomorrow being Tuesday, I have to be back in time for that meeting at 3 o'clock. Everyone knows. In the ministry, they know. And in these subgroup meetings, we call the industry to make a presentation on the problems that we have. We have the representative, joint secretary level representative of Ministry of Environment and Forest, or whichever ministry is the subgroup. Then we have a very interesting concept of a sponsoring ministry. We did have some problem in the beginning to convince the ministries into sponsoring private sector projects. Because we believe until the government department also stands along with the private sector, the project will not come through. And those ministries should feel it is as much their product as the private sector. During the course of discussions, our insistence primarily is on getting a decision going. So my common refrain in the meeting, and I head all these groups, is that please give me a time by which you will take a decision. And if you can't give me a time, then give me a time by which you will give me a time to take a decision. So, we are consistently and persistently after them. So this is one dimension of what we have tried to do. The other dimension, I think, is even more important. Much of the problems that in setting up of an industry relate to the state government. In fact, now we have an analysis to indicate that 50% issues relate to the state government and its departments. Earlier, what used to happen was when there was a problem with the state government of a large project, the cabinet secretariat used to call the chief secretary and senior officers to Delhi for a discussion. We've changed it totally. Now, I travel every Monday and Friday to a state and sit with the chief secretary and all the senior officers of the state government, including the district collectors who are either in the meeting or on the video conference, where each industry issue is discussed in the presence of industry. They make a presentation, we discuss, and we fix timelines for decisions. And since the state knows that I'll be back within 2 months, because that's how it happens, 2.5 months I'm back in that state to see whether the timelines have been met or not. So this was the structure, or this is the structure that is put in place. It seems to have worked. It seems to have worked because we have so far managed to facilitate clearance of about 170 projects worth 5.7 lakh crores, which translates into around $100 billion. So it seems to be happening. Now, since this was happening, we were under pressure from the state governments and the industry that why don't you bring down the threshold limit from 1,000 crore to 100 crore? If it is working for 1,000 crore plus, why can't it work for 100 crores? Now, the government has very clearly decided, and you will be glad to know, that 15 states have set up their own state portals on the basis of software that we have prepared, and this portal is back-end linked to our portal for monitoring projects between 100 and 1,000 crores. 15 states have done that. What this also illustrates is that there is a buy-in amongst the state with regard to the manner in which we have to solve the problems. Because we've passed a critical hump. There is no suspicion between center and state. We are almost on the same page, and they know that we are there to help them. When I go to the state, I don't go there to monitor what is being done in the state. In fact, I have told the states that I am your representative sitting in the center, and you have a problem with other ministries, I will interact with them through our subgroups and solve your problems. In the meanwhile, you solve my problems, which are with the state government. So this sort of a coordination has actually helped, and it seems to be working reasonably well. Now, having done all this, we were probably in a position to understand the nature of problems. Because we discovered that if we took a policy decision in certain aspects, a number of issues will get sorted out. In the beginning, we were totally focused on resolution of issues. But we found certain similarities, certain undercurrents, certain underpinning policy issues, and we were in a position to suggest that to the respective ministries, that if you took this policy decision, then a large number of issues will get sorted out. A policy decision which would probably, some of you will be able to relate with, related to transmission lines. For all linear projects also you required a village-wise clearance. Now, we felt that we can understand that if a project exists in a village and occupying a large area there, then there's a resolution that is required. But if it's a linear project like a road project, a railway project, a transmission project, then each village need not be given the trouble of giving trouble to the industry. And fair enough, this decision has been taken by the government, that for linear projects, such sort of resolution will not be required. I can go on and on to tell you what are some of the underpinning policy decisions that have taken place. But people have asked me, Mr. Swaroop, your group seems to have done a lot, but how did you do it? When you don't have any authority, thankfully I don't have any authority to take action against anybody. Because if there were so, it will become a powerful assignment, and there will be many people wanting to take this assignment. So if it's not powerful, and you are actually, what we are doing is to convey a value proposition to the stakeholder. And stakeholders in this case are industry, the state government, the central government ministries. These are the stakeholders. When they understand the value proposition of what we are trying to offer, it becomes a sustainable model. So having done all this, then we started looking at the other aspect of it. The project monitoring group was basically coming at the end of the process. That is, if the industry had a problem, they could come to us. Now the question was, why is there is this problem? Why can't I look at the process itself, which is creating this problem? So what we've done now is, we are looking at each of the process for clearance and registration with a view to digitizing these processes so that industry does not have to go to any office to file an application for registration or clearance. And they are not only able to do that on the web, they are able to see it on the portal at each stage of existence of that application against defined timelines. Now, this is a difficult thing. So what we have to do is to define the process, to digitize that process, put it on the portal, fix timelines for intermediate clearances, and allow the industry to see what is happening on the portal. Now, this is really ease of business. Our objective is that by 31st of March, most of these clearance, the industry doesn't have to go to any office. They can file it on the portal, and they can measure it against prescribed timelines. Now, this is not merely an announcement. It has already started happening. That is why I talk with a lot of conviction. We picked up the most difficult of the clearances, the forest clearance. Today, as I talk to you, you can go to the portal, file a forest application on the portal, and actually see the application move from one table to the other against prescribed timelines. You can see that. So has happened in case of environment clearance. And I can assure you that we are working very intensively with each of the ministries, sitting with them, trying to first freeze on the process, then to see if the timelines can be fixed for each stage, and then get the software team to work on that. Mind you, this is not rocket technology. In fact, in India, there's no problem with technology. It's a problem with the attitudes. If we can somehow change the attitudes, I think things will happen. And we are trying to demonstrate that. Our experience in PMG has proved to us first, and then to others, that technology can be used. And I'm proud to say that probably ours is the only office in the country where there is no file. We are a fileless office. My entire office moves in my telephone or my laptop because everything happens on the web. The minutes of the meeting are dictated during the meeting on the portal directly. So I don't even have to approve the minutes. The file doesn't move for that. The agenda is sent through a push of a button. Because in India, there is a term called, in northern India, there's a term called jari, issue. You issue a letter, no? Ja happens when I sign the letter, re happens when you get the letter, and there's a huge gap between ja and re. In the electronic world, there is no gap. Push the button, it's jari. It's there with you. And then, when people ask me, how are you making this happen? I told them that no matter how inefficient I am, to the public, I'd like to appear to be efficient. You make things transparent, put on the portal, and every bureaucrat and anyone involved would not like to appear to be inefficient there, because these inefficiencies get displayed on the portal. So once we have this going, and we are confident that we should be able to do it, I think by 31st of March, in any case, the ease of business will improve. The Prime Minister is extremely committed. The government is very committed. The signals are absolutely clear, and we are at it. We are working towards it. It is not mere an announcement. As I said, we started delivering it on the ground. It has happened in terms of one of the most contentious clearances. It will happen in case of all the clearances. And I would also like to share with you that we are doing this digitization not only at the center. Since states are on board with PMG, and we have a lot of mutual confidence amongst ourselves, states have agreed to digitize their processes also. So we are engaging with them very intensively. As I travel to state every Monday and Friday, I discuss with the state governments. On the 10th of October, we are having a national workshop where we are going to take all the states into confidence to get them into digitizing their processes So we are very hopeful that we should be able to give you a digitized world. Now finally, how could this be helped in setting up of smart cities? In setting up of smart cities also, there will be myriads of clearances that will be required. And that is where the problem lies, because the industry gets exasperated. Where all have to go, who all have to talk, when should I talk, how should I talk to get these clearances going? Once it becomes a transparent system that a clearance goes onto the portal, then no one has to go to anybody, it's visible. And once it becomes visible, I think it will get cleared. I once again thank AIMA for inviting me here. I love talking to you people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Swaroop. Honorable Minister for Urban Development, Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji does not need any introduction. Just to mention briefly that he started his political career at a very early stage in the early 70s as the president of the Students' Union in the Andhra University. He has been the national president of BJP, and amongst many other positions which he has held. One of them has been in 2000 to 2002, during the last government, his government. He has been the Minister of Rural Development, and from rural development he has now